So, you're thinking about taking a trip with Peter Pan Bus Lines? Awesome, you're in the right spot. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to make your journey totally smooth.
Because the best trips are the ones where you don't have to sweat the small stuff, right? Figuring out the deal with your ticket, your bags, and even your pet before you even get to the station, that's the secret to a stress-free travel day.
Okay, so we're going to break this down into 4 main parts. First up, we'll get into your ticket and all the options you have. Then, we'll talk packing, what you can bring, and what your pets can bring. After that, we'll cover accessibility and how seating works, and we'll finish up with all the cool comforts you'll find on the coach. All right, let's dive into maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, your ticket. Seriously, understanding your options for cancellations, refunds, and changes before you hit that buy button can save you a world of trouble later on. Okay, so the first thing you gotta know is that right out of the gate, Peter Pan tickets are non-refundable. But hold on, don't panic. Your plans aren't set in stone. They've got a couple of really good options if you need some flexibility. Now, this is pretty interesting. They actually updated their refundable fare policy recently. So listen up. If you grabbed your ticket before August 14th, 2024, you could ask for a refund up to 2 hours before you left, but you wouldn't get that $18 feedback. Now, for tickets bought on or after that date, it's a bit different. You've got to request the refund a full 24 hours ahead of time, but you get both the fare and the feedback, just minus a small $5 cancellation fee. So yeah, a pretty big change to be aware of. So what if you have one of those standard non-refundable tickets? What then? Well, you can still change your trip. It's a flat $10 fee plus you'd cover any difference in the fare. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. You have to make that change before your original bus is scheduled to leave. Once that time passes, that's it. The ticket's a no-go. Okay, ticket stuff is sorted. Now for the fun part, packing. We're going to talk about what you can bring from your big suitcase all the way to your furry little travel buddy. All right, I've got some great news to start us off. Your ticket automatically includes one carry-on bag that you keep with you and one bigger bag that gets stowed under the bus, and both are totally free. That's a pretty sweet deal that works for most trips. So let's break down the numbers. Your free carry-on, that can be up to 25 pounds. Your free stowed bag can go up to 50 pounds. And hey, if you're a heavy packer, no problem. You can actually bring up to 3 extra stowed bags, and it's just $5 each. Just make sure they also stay under that 50-pound limit. What about bringing your pet along for the ride? So good news, Peter Pan does allow small dogs and cats, but you gotta follow the rules pretty closely. They have to be in a carrier with these specific dimensions, and the grand total, your pet plus the carrier, can't top 25 pounds. And remember, that carrier is your one carry-on bag. The whole trip, your little buddy has to stay inside it, tucked safely under your seat. Okay, now this is a really important point to cover. Service animals. The official definition, according to the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, is that a service animal is a dog that's been specifically trained to do work or perform tasks for someone with a disability. And of course, these incredible animals are always welcome on board. No extra charge.
And this brings us to a really key distinction. Emotional support animals, therapy animals, comfort animals, they are not considered service animals by the ADA. So what that means is, if you're traveling with one of these wonderful companions, you'll need to follow that standard pet policy we just talked about.
All right, moving on to Section 3. Let's talk about what happens when you get to the station, accessibility, and how seating works. Peter Pan wants to make sure everyone has a smooth trip, so here's the scoop. First things first, if you need any assistance, don't hesitate to ask. The staff is there to help you out with things like getting on and off the bus, helping with your luggage, or stowing a mobility device. Really, the main thing is to just let the staff at the terminal know what you need, and they'll get you sorted. Now, if you're traveling with a larger mobility aid, there are a couple of specific numbers to keep in mind. If it's going in the baggage bay underneath, it can't be more than 200 pounds and needs to fit within these dimensions. For the lift that gets you onto the bus, the combined weight of you and your device can be up to 650 pounds. So, how does seating actually work? How do you get a good spot? Well, for the most part, it's first come, first served. See, your ticket comes with a boarding number, and that number is your place in the queue. Pretty simple, right? And here's a pro tip. The earlier you book your ticket, the lower your boarding number will be. So you've got a few different seating situations to know about. Most of the bus is just what we said, general seating. You board, you find a spot. But the seats right up front are designated as priority seating for the elderly and customers with disabilities. You can definitely ask for one of these, but just know they aren't guaranteed. And on certain routes, you might have the option to pay a little extra for a reserved seat.
That way, you know exactly where you're sitting before you even get on.
And last but not least, let's talk about the ride itself. Once you're on the bus, all settled in, what's it like? Let's get into the onboard amenities that make your trip comfortable.
Peter Pan coaches are actually decked out with some pretty great stuff. You got free Wi-Fi, which is amazing. There are power outlets at every single seat, so no more dead phones. The seats recline and have extra legroom. Plus, there's climate control and, yes, an onboard restroom. You've basically got everything you need to just kick back and relax.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's really simple, actually. A little bit of prep work goes a long way. When you know the deal with your ticket, your bags, and your seat ahead of time, all that's left to do is get on, find your spot, and just enjoy the ride.
So there you have it. You are officially prepared for a super smooth trip with Peter Pan. The only question left is, now that all the details are handled, where is your next adventure going to take you? Happy travels!